people, I don't have a home, but I have freedom.
As a giant sci-fi fan, I have to ask about that fun little Star Trek reference right out the gate. I loved that. What made you want to slip that in?
Because I'm coming to love Star Trek with an absolute passion. I love the old show. I always watched the old show, but when Star Trek Discovery came along, I kind of became a proper fan. And so now I'm devoted with Picard and Strange New Worlds. And frankly, the fact that I'm not married to Captain Pike is a major problem in my life. And I look to you, Collider, to put this right, frankly. It's like it's a wrong it's writing. I love that man. Oh, gosh, he's beautiful. Anson Mount. And what a great name. I just think I know how many geeks are watching, and I include myself on that list. I know how many science fiction fans are out there, and I think we buzz off that. The interesting thing about that reference is the Doctor talks about, it's not the first time Doctor Who's referenced Star Trek, but it is the first time that Doctor Who's referenced Star Trek as if it's real. As he says, let's go visit them. So I think that should just cause excited ripples around the world. I hope.
One of my favorite things about your writing for Doctor Who is the way you balance that campy silliness with such a depth of emotion. How does writing for Ncuti and Millie differ from your previous companion duos?
I mean, in many ways it doesn't, and what's in many ways I'm not here to reinvent the wheel. I loved working with Billy Piper and David Tennant and Freema and Catherine Tate. I've been blessed with great actors, and it's happened again. I mean, I've got to say that's a casting director who does a brilliant job. His name's Andy Pryor. And he searches the land for the best talent. So this doesn't happen by chance. Hard work never happens by chance. It's always just diligence. But I do consider myself to be astronomically lucky that in the year I came back to Doctor Who, Ncuti decided to leave Sex Education and Millie decided to leave Coronation Street, which really was, for me, a massive convergence of stars upon one project. I could not have been luckier. And I think there's something so 2024 about them. I think they're young and they're passionate and they're raw and they're kind of bold. They're unafraid and they're limitless, which I've got to say is what you want from every lead actor in every drama. But when that's Doctor Who, you have a chance to push that to all the extremes with space babies and monsters and chases and satire and jokes and terror. The situations demand the full range of emotions, and those two deliver hugely. So
absolutely. As a queer person myself, seeing the show just keep leaning more into queer themes and everything, especially since the specials, has been super gratifying. Can you speak about just leaning into that more intentionally?
Yes, it's funny because, to be absolutely honest, it's almost not that deliberate. That's the life that I lead, and I've been doing this. I wrote a series called Queer as Folk in 1999 that broke down many barriers, and I'm never going to step back from that. And in fairness, no one's ever asked me to step back from that. And I just think it doesn't even feel particularly queer to me. It just feels natural. This is the world, and it's 2024, and we're all embracing this. Twitter might kick off, and in dark little corners people might argue, but that's not the real world. The real world is one of acceptance and with battles to be fought and votes to be gained. It's like I'm not naive to the problems that exist, but God, it's a more welcoming world in schools. We now have people who can come out in schools and be happy and thrive, which when I was that age was literally impossible. So that's got to be a better world. So I simply write quite naturally. I don't think about it that much. That is my world. And I'm trusted by my bosses to put my world and to put my writing on screen. So I confidently do.
Excellent. I'm so grateful for it. Speaking of getting Jinx for this, for Maestro.
Talking of
so incredible. Yeah, exactly. Can you just talk a bit about working with Jinx and bringing him on for this role?
What a joy, because I'd actually known Jinx for a while. I knew Jinx's husband. I was actually talking to Jinx's husband on the night they met. Michael said, I'm off for a date, and I didn't know with who. And then I was a guest at their Zoom wedding. They got married in the lockdown, and I gave a speech on Zoom. And I've always admired Jinx. I go to see the shows. Every year Jinx brings a Christmas show to Britain, which I adore. I love those shows. I genuinely walk away from them dazzled by his invention, his genius, their invention, their genius. And so when it came to writing Maestro, that just absolutely fitted everything I wanted to do. And casting Jinx was almost common sense. And marvellously, everyone else on the team agreed with that. And it's kind of raised the roof on Doctor Who slightly. It's allowed a madness and a freedom. I find that character more terrifying for the Doctor, because the Doctor's very used to finding out the rules, working out the rules, and then using those rules against his enemy. Whereas actually, when you're faced with the titanic god of sound and music and fury, then all rules are off. The Doctor has a very hard time defeating them. So it's a great battle. It's a wonderful battle, and I mean, you've seen the end result. Have you seen the end result? You've seen that?
Yes.
Yeah. It's becoming one of everyone's favourites immediately because it's Titanic. I keep saying Titanic because it is so huge.
Absolutely. If Maestro was going to steal music from you, what would be the song in your heart?
I have a different song in my heart every day because I'm always playing different music to write to, so I think they'd have to steal the music of Murray Gold, who does the Doctor Who soundtracks, who's a very good friend of mine and who's written the soundtracks to almost everything I ever write, because we're so in sync that it's hard for me to ever work without him, and I love him. So, oh my gosh, let's never talk about Murray Gold being stolen from me. That's too sad. I thought it would never happen.
Donna's my favorite character from Doctor Who, and so the 60th was super satisfying. And I know we're getting Rose Noble back for the finale. What can you tease about the return of Yasmin and Rose?
Yes, I mean, and Yasmin and Rose, I will always keep working with as long as I can, I hope. I mean, that's one of the most in-demand actors in the world. If ever you see Rose not appearing, that'll probably be because Yasmin's been signed up for a new show. I know we've got Heartstopper 3 coming out very soon, which I can't wait to see. I mean, again, just lucky. I consider myself to be lucky. I'm very lucky that she enjoyed herself so much that she always wants to come back. And the other was that now she comes back, there's always a little fleeting reference to my mum and my uncle, she calls him, now with that offstage doctor. So she's part of the family. And I think if we can keep her there, I'd be very, very happy.
I'm looking forward to every episode, but can you tease anything about Boom and Rogue specifically?
Boom and which one?
Rogue, the Bridgerton style.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Boom is written by Stephen Moffat, the master, not the Doctor Who master. I mean, the master of writing, which Stephen is. And one of my first phone calls when I got the job back was to phone up Stephen saying, please come and write an episode. That's the man who wrote Blink, invented the Weeping Angels. He's just a joy and a genius, and actually makes my life easier because I can just sit back in those episodes and have a week off. And so that is that's on a war-torn world. It's after the madness of the Space Babies and Maestro. It comes right down to earth. Very tough, very gritty, very hard, much more hard sci-fi. So very, very enjoyable. I love that. And the other end of the scale, Rogue, an episode called Rogue, is written by Kate Herron of Loki fame. She was the Loki showrunner with her writing partner Bryony Redmond. Bryony Redmond's a power in improv and stand-up in Britain. She's the people, my friends who work in improv, go, oh my God, you've worked with Bryony Redmond. They love her. And what a team they are. They're a writing pair. So that's what we call the Bridgerton episode. And literally the Doctor and Ruby call it the Bridgerton episode. They keep walking. They're in 1813 England at a ball doing all the dances, and they keep saying, oh my God, it's like we're in Bridgerton, which is enormous fun and irresistible. We simply couldn't, Kate and Bryony simply could not resist doing that. And it's also a story within it. Of course, it's not exactly like Bridgerton, is that there are evil aliens out to steal bodies. So frankly, that might be a good story in Bridgerton. I'd suggest that to Chandra if ever I meet her. But it's a great mashup of historical and science fiction.
I'd love to see Chandra write an episode of Doctor Who sometime.
I would love to see Chandra. I think that Netflix contract forbids anything, but I'll wait. I'll play a long game. I'll wait for that one.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me today. This was lovely. I can't wait for the season.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Cheers.